Welcome back to my lecture on the series RCC. In the last video, we have seen how to determine the depth of neutral axis. Then we also have seen how to derive the design constants, right? So, and I also have given you the definitions of moment of resistance based on whether the concrete is reaching the permissible stresses first or the tensile stresses first. We have developed equation for determining the moment of resistance. So today I'll start with the types of RCC sections. See, I'm not saying types of RCC beams, I'm saying types of RCC section. Okay, based on the amount of steel, reinforcement or percentage of steel in the section, we have three types of RCC sections. One is balanced section. Second is under reinforced section. And third one is over reinforced section. This is based on the amount of steel in the section, over reinforced section. Okay, now coming to the first type, balanced section. Right, if the area of reinforcement in a section is of such a magnitude that the permissible stresses in concrete and steel reaches simultaneously. Okay, then such section is called as a balanced section or critical section or economical section. I repeat, a section is in such a way that steel is provided is of such a magnitude that the stress in concrete and steel both reaches their maximum permissible stress simultaneously. Such a section is known as balanced section, economical section or critical section. Practically, such sections are not possible. Okay, practically such sections are not possible. This section is taken for reference. Okay, for reference. What reference? We'll see when I tell you under reinforced and over reinforced. This is practically not possible because sometimes concrete reaches its permissible stress first, sometimes steel reaches its permissible stress. Both reaching simultaneously is practically not possible. Okay. Now, if I draw a balanced section, okay, if this is a concrete beam having some steel in the tension zone, okay, the steel is such that it is going to give you a balanced section. Okay, so if I draw stress diagram, both are reaching their maximum simultaneously. Okay, so this is called a balanced section. So whatever neutral axis depth you get, whatever neutral axis is we get for critical section or balanced section is called as critical neutral axis. The neutral axis of a balanced section is called as a critical neutral axis, right? So it is represented by NC. So in a balanced section, moment of resistance due to compressive force will be equal to moment of resistance due to tensile force. So in a balanced section, you can get the moment of resistance either by multiplying the compressive force with lever arm or the tensile force with lever arm. In both the cases, we get the same magnitude, same value. So this is a balanced section. Okay, coming to the next one, under reinforced section. Under reinforced section, the name itself is saying steel is less under reinforced. So when the amount of steel in the section is less than the steel required for a balanced section, then such section is called as under reinforced section. Okay, amount of steel or steel reinforcement is less than steel required for balanced section. Okay, if that is a section, steel is less than that required for balanced section, then that section is called as under reinforced section. Okay, now here reinforcement is less, so maximum permissible stresses of steel will reach its maximum value first. Okay, once again I am drawing the figure, a small figure to show you an underbalanced section. So this is suppose a balanced section. For example, I am telling, right, in this is the critical neutral axis. Right, now I am going to show you the stress. The stress in steel will be reaching its maximum permissible, whereas this is not maximum, this is C. For example, the reinforcement we have used is 140 Newton per mm square, that is Fe 250. Then this under reinforced section, the stresses in steel will reach 140 Newton per mm square first, prior to the permissible stresses in concrete. Yes, so the steel is reaching its permissible stresses prior to the concrete. Okay, so in such cases, the neutral axis of that section, which section? Under reinforced section, will be somewhere above the critical neutral axis. This is critical neutral axis, so it will be somewhere above the critical neutral axis. So this is your neutral axis. This is the neutral axis of an under reinforced section. We are representing it by N, whereas this is the neutral axis of a critical section or a balanced section. So you can see in under reinforced section, the actual neutral axis or neutral axis of the section is less than the critical neutral axis. Okay, the 3 points which you have to remember is, first, the amount of steel in under reinforced section is less than the required for balanced section. Okay, second point is the stresses in an under reinforced section, steel reaches its maximum permissible value of stresses prior to the concrete. Okay, prior to the concrete. So the neutral axis will move above the critical neutral axis. That means neutral axis of an under reinforced section will be less than the critical neutral axis. So the design will be governed by the tensile forces, right? Because steel is less. Steel is less here, so we have to design the moment of resistance for tensile stresses, not for concrete, because concrete is safe. Okay, if you design for compressive stresses, then the member may fail due to tension. That is why we have to take moment of resistance based on tensile stresses. That is, moment of resistance of an under reinforced section will be tensile force into lever arm. So if you remember, sigma st into ast into d minus neutral axis lever arm. So this is the formula for moment of resistance in case of an under reinforced section. For a balanced section, you can find either with this or with that. So this is the second type of section. Okay, now coming to the third type of section, that is over reinforced. Right, once again the name itself is suggesting. What is over reinforced? Over reinforced means more steel is provided than a balanced section. Okay, area of steel in this section will be more than the area of steel of a balanced section. Steel is more. Okay, because steel is more, it is safe, right? So here the stresses in concrete will reach its permissible value before the steel. Okay, before the steel. So once again, if I draw the same figure, okay, first I will draw the neutral axis of a balanced section. Okay, yes, I need to make a small here correction, right? So here this will come like this. So same way here also, for a over reinforced, if this is a neutral axis of a balanced section, then if you draw stress strain diagram for over reinforced section, I told you stress in concrete reaches first. So this is sigma CBC. Okay, this is sigma st by m. Okay, so this is not reaching the permissible value, so this will be T. This will be T. Suppose I am using Fe 250 and M20 grade concrete, then CBC will reach 7 Newton per mm square, whereas this will not reach 140. It will be somewhat less than that. Okay, so this is how the neutral axis is coming somewhere below. You can see this is the actual neutral axis of the over-reinforced section. So this is your neutral axis N, whereas this is the neutral axis of a balanced section. Can you make out in the figure? Yes. So in under-reinforced section, the neutral axis is in concrete zone because concrete is safe. It hasn't reached its permissible stresses, right? So neutral axis is less than the critical neutral axis. Whereas in over-reinforced section, concrete is reaching permissible stress, so neutral axis is moving down in the tensile zone. In such case, the neutral axis of the given section will be more than the neutral axis of the critical section. Okay, so here concrete is reaching its permissible stresses first, so we have to get the moment of resistance based on compressive stresses. So moment of resistance is equal to compressive force into lever arm. You all remember in my previous video I have given you what is compressive force. Half sigma CBC B into KD or N into lever arm. Lever arm is JD. Right? So based on this we have calculated the moment of resistance. So this is what we have to remember. In a balanced section, both steel and concrete will reaches their maximum permissible stresses simultaneously. In an under-reinforced section, this is practically not possible. Okay, in an under-reinforced section, steel provided will be less than the balanced section. Steel is less, so steel reaches its permissible stresses first, and neutral axis moves into the compression zone. So neutral axis of an under-reinforced beam will be less than the critical neutral axis, and moment of resistance has to be found using the tensile stresses because steel is less. Same in over-reinforced section, a section where area of steel provided is more than the area of steel required for balanced section. Okay, so in this case stresses in concrete reaches their permissible value prior to the permissible stresses of steel. Right? So in such cases the neutral axis of this section moves into the tensile zone. That means neutral axis will be more than the critical neutral axis. Because concrete is reaching its permissible stresses, moment of resistance has to be taken, moment of resistance has to be based on the compressive stresses. So compressive force into lever arm. So this is how you will find out the steel in the three sections. Okay? Types of RCC beams. Okay? Now RCC beams are of the following three types. Number one, now this is RCC beams, exclusively beams. In my earlier discussion I said sections. It can be a slab also, under reinforced, over reinforced. It can be a column also. So there I said section. Now here exclusively it's beams. Okay, types of beams. We have three types of beams. First is singly reinforced beam. Singly reinforced beam. Second is doubly reinforced beam. And third one is flanged beams. Flanged beams. Okay. Now singly reinforced beams. Okay. The name itself is saying that reinforcement is provided only in one zone. Obviously it will be the tension zone. Okay. A section in which steel is provided only in the tension zone. Okay. Sometimes if it is a simply supported beam, the tension zone will be at the bottom. If it's a simply supported beam. If it's a cantilever beam, already in my previous video I have shown you. So right, suppose this is a simply supported beam. Okay. So if this is your beam, when it is loaded, okay, when it is loaded, it will bend like this. Bending is like this. So the neutral axis will be somewhere here. Right. So this is in you can see the top fibers are in compression. The bottom fibers are they are elongated. The bottom fibers are elongated. So they are in tension. So this is the tension zone. This is the compression zone in case of simply supported beam. So we provide steel in the tension zone. Okay. If it's a case of cantilever beam that is supported on one side, when you apply the load, it will bend like this. It will bend like this. Now you can see tension is on the, it has bent like this. Some fibers have got elongated at the top. So above neutral axis they are in tension, below they are in compression. So steel will be provided in cantilever beam on the upper zone. So whether it is any type of beam, the reinforcement will be provided in the tension zone only. Fine. So such beams are called as singly reinforced beam. Okay. Now coming to doubly reinforced beam. Okay. Sometimes situation demands. Okay. What is that situation? We will see in the coming videos. Right. Maybe the external bending moment will be more than the moment of resistance. In such cases, we have to provide steel even in the compression zone. Such beams are called as doubly reinforced beam. We will learn it in detail. Just definition you remember. When the steel is provided both in compression and tension zone, it is called a doubly reinforced beam. Now coming to the third type of beam, that is flanged beams. Okay, one example I am showing you here. This is a flanged beam. In my introduction, if you remember, I have said concrete takes up compression in the above zone, right? The concrete below the neutral axis, because below the neutral axis is tension zone. No need of compressive forces. So this rectangle has been converted into has been converted into T-beam. Means because concrete is not required, we have removed this. So now this has emerged as a flanged beam. Okay. In most of the reinforced structure which we observe in our daily life, slabs and beams are cast monolithically. You might have seen the formwork for slab and beam. Same time the concreting will be done. That is called monolithic construction. So slab is also going to take up the stresses of the beam, right? So beam has become a part of slab system. When due to load the beam bends, even the slab bends. Such beams are called as flanged beams. Now if I take a big hall, okay, section I am showing you, you will get beams like this. At some interval you will get beams like this. You might have come across these. Okay, you can see the corner beams. The corner beams are they are taking a shape of L. So they are called as L beam. And this is T beam. The center beams are T beams. Okay, because they resemble the letter B, letter T, it is called as T beam. Fine. So this is in most of the modern concrete constructions, we are going for monolithic construction of slab and beam. So that is a flanged beam. Okay. Moving into the next part of our lecture. So now we will see how to analyze and design singly reinforced beam. Design of singly reinforced beam or analysis of singly reinforced beam. So in detail we will see this one, singly reinforced beam. Okay, so singly reinforced beam we generally encounter with both type of problems, that is analysis and second is design. Analysis means finding the moment of resistance, that is the capacity of the beam. Moment of resistance, the other term which you can use is capacity. The capacity of the beam to resist the external load. So that comes under analysis. So first type of problem will be determining the determination of the moment of resistance. Determination of the moment of resistance. this will be our first type of problem we will be solving, moment of resistance of the given section. We will find out whether the beam can carry the external loading or not. That is the capacity of beam we will derive. That is called as moment of resistance. Second type of beam will be determination of stresses. Determination of stresses. Now this type of stresses of the given section or in the given section. Determination of the stresses in the given section. Now this is also an analysis problem. This type of problem we get only in working stress method. In limit state method we will not be determining any stresses. Fine. So here, as I said you, sometimes concrete reaches its permissible stresses, sometimes steel reaches its permissible stresses, sometimes both will not reach the permissible stresses when the load is less, isn't it? So how much is the stress for the given loading or what is the stress for the given bending? That is what we will determine in the second type of problem. The third type of problem is design. The third type of problem is design of section. Design of section. Design of section to resist a given bending moment. So in this case, whatever the load is coming on the structure or whatever bending moment is coming on the structure, that will be given to you, and you have to fix up the design. That is, what should be the width of beam, what should be the depth of beam. Fine. So, and how much area of steel you are going to provide, that comes under this type of problem. So basically we are supposed to solve these three types of problem using working stress method. Okay, let us move into for the problem. The first problem is determination of moment of resistance of the given section. Now we will solve a problem for the determination of moment of resistance of a given section. So I have written a question here, right? A question is here, determine the moment of resistance of a singly reinforced beam. Singly reinforced beam of the given size. So section size is given here. We have to determine the moment of resistance. Okay, 160 mm by 300 mm deep to the center of reinforcement. The depth is up to the center of reinforcement. The depth is not overall depth, it is up to the center of reinforcement. This point you have to see what is given in the question, whether the overall depth or up to the center of reinforcement. And if the stresses in the steel and concrete are not to exceed 140 Newton per mm square and 5 Newton per mm square. So this is sigma ST. Stress in steel is 140 Newton per mm square and stress in concrete is 5 Newton per mm square. Sometimes instead of giving you the permissible stresses, they will give the grade of concrete and the grade of steel that is used in the problem, right? So then we have to use table 21 for permissible stress in concrete and table 22 for permissible stress in steel of IS 456 2000 annexure B. From that you will get, for if you ask me, this is Fe 250 and this is M15 grade concrete. Okay, so like this they will give. Then you have to get the values using your IS code. The reinforcement, steel is also given, section size is also given, because this is not a design problem. This is an analysis problem. We have to determine if this is the condition, how much moment it can resist. That is what we have to find out. Fine. The reinforcement consists of 4 bars of 16 mm diameter. Take modular ratio is equal to 18. Even M is given to you. If M is not given to you, then 280 by 3 sigma CBC. Right. This is the first part. We have to determine the moment of resistance, right? Another question is also added to it. Also find the maximum load the beam can carry if the beam is used over an effective span of 5 meters. Fine. So that part I'll explain once I get the moment of resistance. Right. So let us solve step by step. Fine. So first we will start with the given. Always whatever is the subject, whatever is the problem, first step may just write down what is given. First you download or just first write down what is the given data and what is required, what is that we have to find out. So in the given data we have been given B as 160 mm. Effective depth is given. See here, 300 mm deep to the center of reinforcement. So if I draw a figure, okay, so this is B which is 160 mm. It has got 4 bars of 16 mm diameter. This is the neutral axis of the given section, not the critical section, given section. So this will be N. Fine. So center of steel to this is given as 300 mm. So sometimes they will give this overall depth, from here to here is overall depth. Now what is this? This is the effective cover. This is referred as effective cover and it is generally represented by D dash. Okay, we will not provide steel at the soffit of the section, at the bottom of the section, because if you provide steel at the bottom, it will be exposed to the atmosphere and it may get deteriorated, it may get rusted, right? So that is why we leave some concrete cover here. So this will be filled of concrete. Then we provide the steel. So that will be called as effective cover. So this effective depth plus effective cover will be overall depth. So you have to check once whether depth given is overall or effective. If overall is given, then you have to remove cover according to the IS specification, then you have to find the D. Fine. So D is given as 300 mm. Then area of steel is given. Area of steel is given as 4 bars of 16 mm diameter. So this you have to convert it into mm square. 4 bars. Area of which 1 bar is diameter square by 4. Pi diameter square by 4. So this will be approximately equal to 804 mm square. This is also a given data. What else is given? Sigma CBC and sigma ST is also given. Sigma ST is given as 140 Newton per mm square and sigma CBC is given as 5 Newton per mm square. This is the maximum permissible stresses. We don't know whether it has reached or not, but maximum allowed is this much. Fine. Then what is that we have to find out in the first step? Moment of resistance. Okay. First we have to find out moment of resistance. So we can find out, the next step will be, we have to find the depth of neutral axis. Depth of critical neutral axis is K into D. K is equal to m sigma CBC by m sigma CBC plus sigma ST. That is for economical section or for balance section. What is our section? We don't know. What is our section? We don't know. So this depth of neutral axis we have to find out. What I have shown you here. How to find out is this? You have to use the first principle. What is the first principle? You have to equate the moment of this compression area. The moment of this compression area about the neutral axis to the moment of equivalent area of steel about neutral axis. Okay, I am writing down, you can see, right? So moment of compressive, you can say compression, you can say compressive area about neutral axis is equal to moment of equivalent tensile area. This is equivalent tensile area about neutral axis. So this figure is very useful to us now to find that. Okay, so left hand side is moment of compressive area. What is compressive area? This is compressive area, B into N. Okay, so compressive area is moment. Fine. So moment multiplied by the centroidal distance will give you the moment of area. Right? This is from your fundamentals of mechanics. So your compressive area is B into N. you have to multiply with the centroidal distance. So this compressive centroidal distance is n by 2 because this is rectangular. So n by 2 is equal to moment of equivalent tensile area. What is equivalent tensile area? MAST. This you have to multiply with the centroidal distance. So this is your center from here to neutral axis. So this is total is D. Okay. So D minus N will give you the centroidal distance. So D minus N. Now you can see you have B value, you have M value, you have AST value, all values are there with you except N. So using the principle of first principle, you can find out the depth of neutral axis. So just substituting 300 n square by 2 is equal to 18. Okay, M is given as 18 into area of steel. Just now you have calculated 804 into D minus NA. D is 300 minus N. Okay, you just solve this equation. You have to solve this equation. Fine, you get n square plus 181n. Just bring the right hand side to the left hand side, minus 54287 is equal to 0. You will get a quadratic equation, right? So using your calculators, you can find out the depth of neutral axis, which has come to 159.5 mm. So this is your first step. You have to find out the depth of the neutral axis of the given section. Okay. Then immediately you have to find the depth of critical neutral axis, depth of balanced section neutral axis. That is NC. We have a formula, direct formula, K into T. What is K? Neutral axis depth factor. Why do we want to determine the depth of critical matrix? We have to compare this neutral axis and with this neutral axis, and we have to decide whether the given section is under reinforced or over reinforced or balanced. For that we need to find out this one. So this is M. K is, M sigma CBC by M sigma CBC plus sigma ST into D. So you have all values. To the next third step, step 3, we have to find out the depth of critical neutral axis so that we can compare this depth of critical neutral axis with the depth of neutral axis of the section, with the depth of the neutral axis section. So when we compare that, you can arrive at the conclusion whether it is an under reinforced section or over reinforced section. Fine. So depth of critical neutral axis is using NC is equal to K into D. K formula already we know it in our previous videos. If you haven't watched, do watch my earlier videos for a continuity. Fine. So K is equal to M sigma CBC by M sigma CBC plus sigma ST into D. So all the values are available in the given. Simply we have to substitute. M is equal to 18. C is equal to 5. 18 into 5 plus 140. This you multiply with D. D is 300 mm. So we get the depth of critical neutral axis as 117.4 mm. So this is if it is a balanced section, then because you have seen the balanced section depth of neutral axis depends only on the grade of steel. I have told you in the earlier videos. So fine, we got it as the depth of critical neutral axis is 117.4. Now we have to compare. We have to compare whether it is more or less. You can see the depth of neutral axis is 159.5 and depth of critical neutral axis is 117.4. Fine. So we can conclude that. Depth of neutral axis is more than depth of critical neutral axis. So simply if you draw a rough figure, okay, so just some rough figure, if this is the critical neutral axis, depth of neutral axis is more means our neutral axis is coming here, isn't it? Right? So that means it is an over reinforced section. right? It is an over reinforced section. Section is over reinforced. Section is over reinforced, and stresses in concrete will reaches its permissible value first. Concrete will reaches its permissible value first. So in the next step, you have to determine the moment of resistance. That is our question. Determine the moment of resistance. Section is over reinforced, so moment of resistance shall be based on compressive force, right? Because concrete is reaching its permissible value first. So the formula is compressive force into lever arm. Yes, moment of resistance shall be based on the compressive force, because stresses in the concrete is reaching the permissible value first. So what is compressive force? Half sigma CB is the stress, B into N is the area, right? This was the compressive force, stress into area. You have to multiply this with the lever arm. Lever arm is D minus N by 3. Okay, so if you want, I can just show you the stress diagram, right? So this was the compressive force, which will act at N by 3, because this is a triangle, right? This compressive force is equal to stress into area. Then lever arm is the perpendicular distance between force, compressive force and tensile force. So this complete was D. Then lever arm will be equal to D minus N by 3. So all the values are there with you. Simply substitute half 5 160 into N is given section, not critical one, okay, into D minus 159.5 by 3. Okay, you get a very big number, because this is in Newton per mm square, this is in mm, this is in mm. Okay, so you get a very big number that will be in Newton mm. So you divide it by 10 to the power of 6. Okay, if you like, you get 15.75 into 10 to the power of 6 Newton mm. So you can just simply avoid this 10 to the power of 6, it becomes kilonewton meter. So this is the moment of resistance of the given section. For this detail, this is the moment of resistance. This is how we determine the moment of resistance using working stress method. First you have to define the depth of neutral axis of the given section, then depth of neutral axis of the critical section. Compare it whether it is under reinforced or over reinforced. So depending upon the depth of neutral axis, it can be over reinforced, it can be under reinforced. So select the appropriate formula for moment of resistance, then find out the moment of resistance. So this is how we will find out the moment of resistance. Coming to the last part of the problem, as I said you, the problem has got two parts. The first part was to determine the moment of resistance. In the last, he has also find the maximum load the beam can carry. The beam can carry if the beam is used over an effective span of 5 meters. Okay, so whatever moment of resistance you got, you have to equate it to the bending moment. Once again I repeat, this is the moment developed by the internal stresses when it is loaded, and this is the bending moment due to the external load. Right? So whatever bending moment it has to support, that will be resisted by the bend moment from the stresses inside the material, from the material. So you got this as 15.75 into, okay, no need of into 10, this is kilonewton meter, and bending moment is W into L square by 8, because it's a simply supported over an effective span of 5 meters. So everything is there. This is in kilonewton meter only, W into 5 square by 8. So from this you get, if you cross multiply, you get the value of W, that is 5.04. It's an UDL, so it's 5.04 kilonewton per meter. This is the UDL which it can support without failure. Okay, if you want more such videos, subscribe my channel, like my videos and share with your friends and dear ones. Have a good day.